All right, welcome to episode 118 of My FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there are other mediums. There's a blog, which you can find, and you should go to myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. And the reason why I say you should go there is because when I cover these articles, I only cover what's important to me. And then for time's sake, I don't cover every single article. And there may be something you may be wondering about, but I don't cover it. And there may be an article there that answers it. Or it may be the same article that it might have different information that you find more interesting than I do. But that's why I say people should go there and read the articles. All right. But I understand, people are busy. They don't have time. If you are here for a rate and date, goodbye. You're not going to get it from me. I'll give you a date, January 2025. That's the first time I see this happening. All right? So that's for those people who like that. What else? So there's a transcript because I know for some reason people can't understand me, but rss.com has a transcript that is pretty good. So you can go there. Spotify.com, they have audio and video. Rumble has video. And everywhere I post as My FX Buddies. YouTube, everything that I cover is for critique, commenting, sharing, teaching, and falls under fair use disclaimer. And anywhere that you are enjoying this content, look for a word like open, more, intro, info, something like that, description, something like that. And if you click on that, there will be a link to the blog if you do want to go. And matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to pause here because I just remembered I forgot something. All right, I'm back. Okay, so let's see. I think I covered everything. Yeah, so we'll get right into it. So today is, what is today? Tuesday, October 8th, 2024, and it's early enough that this should upload on that date. Also, all right, so this, for those, I know there's lots of people in Dinar land who just get so excited about the WTO. I don't think it has anything to do with the RV. In fact, I feel Iraq joining the WTO would benefit the WTO more than it would benefit Iraq, but that's just me. But here, this came out today. The government completes the file to join WTO. But actually, if you go to the article, unless they have corrected it, on the article it says TWO. But I didn't want to embarrass them like that, so I corrected it. But I don't normally make changes. I usually leave things the way they are. But yeah, I didn't want to do that. Okay, so I do now. There's some very edifying statements in here. It doesn't say anything though, because remember, sometime during the first quarter, that's where they left off last year. Sometime in the first quarter, there's going to be another working party meeting, right? But so here it says, after the important steps and achievements made by the government in more than one file and sector, it was the turn to address the world and confirm that Iraq has become an economic power that should not be underestimated. Isn't that great? And has all the qualifications and capabilities to join the WTO after completing all preparations for that. But then you keep reading, and it says they have a clear vision for the economic future in Iraq, which included setting timetables for achieving the liberalization process and focusing on sectors with high potential such as agriculture, industry, and services, which contributes to accelerating ascension to the organization. So that right there tells me it's not done yet. But because they've made changes and focus, that's accelerating them getting in, right? That's how I read that. You might read it and see it different. Iraq has fulfilled all the requirements for joining the organization through a package of legislation and laws currently being discussed to reform the current legal system to be in line with the requirements and controls of the international organization, such as coordinated trade policies throughout the country, including tariff rates and custom procedures. And they are still working on that. In fact, there's an article today, but I don't cover that because that's all internal stuff. That's all stuff that's good for them, but has nothing to do with the RV. So, all right. Also, the person, whoever wrote this article, stressed that all ministries are working to ensure that the team, which is Saudi Arabia, is the main uh, working member team, a working member country, to get them in. He stressed that all ministries are working to ensure that the team has the information that helps it join the organization, especially since joining the WTO benefits Iraq in expanding free trade. All right. So, but the really big news today in Iraq, you can go check the CBI. They tweeted it. There's several different forms of this article out. Governor of Central Bank of Iraq chairs a meeting on bank lending. And also, I should have put, okay, so then I'm going to cover news from yesterday. I really wanted to post yesterday too, but it just didn't work out. But before I read this, well, I'll just tell you, this meeting discusses the banking sector, government and private institutions, but there's a specific thing. It's like cutting red tape and making things easier. And it's the first meeting of the Supreme Executive Committee for the National Strategy for Bank Lending. And Sudani had a meeting yesterday about this, and it was all on TV. So we'll get to that. But here are the pictures of there's not a woman on here. If these are all the members, right, which you think they would be if it's the inaugural meeting, right? But yeah, so that's that. Let's see. I'm trying to cover the important stuff because I know people don't have 30 minutes. So I try to cover the big news first so people who have to leave, they can go. Ramadan Bank seeks the assistance of 3 experts from America to combat money laundering and manage risks. So one thing I learned here was this K2 company is K2 Integrity. That's the full name. Contract with K2 Integrity. So in addition to Ernst & Young, and who's the other one? The name escapes me right now. But yeah, so the K2 Integrity, and no more than 3 experts in the field of compliance, anti-money laundering, and risk management, as an exception to the instructions for implementing government contracts and standard documents. So this is a change, I think, because remember they were working on merging the Ramadan and the Rashid banks, and they haven't done it yet, and something has happened. We don't know exactly what, but now, how come they only did this with Ramadan Bank? Maybe tomorrow it'll come out that Rashid Bank, or maybe they found something that they want corrected. I don't know, but this is definitely a change. All right. So that, and then also they had a doggone it, I forgot. Bear with me. It'll come to me. I have a lot of stuff in my head. Okay, let's see. This guy, he is The Hezbollah, I didn't mean to say that. Oh well, whatever. Deputy Secretary General Naeem Qasem, he gave a speech. And now remember, he is who? Which is the enemy of who? Ice Cream Land. They put his speech on Iraq's TV, and even they're still talking about it this evening. But so he talked about how he's unable to describe our condition without our late Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah, but we draw inspiration from his strength. Okay, so let's see. There was one. You should go read this. Let's see. Okay, not this one. Not this one. But there's one. It's gonna. I think it's gonna be down later, or I may have taken it out. But they don't say really nice things about America. But that's because that's how they feel about us, right? And then I don't. If you missed the last post, I found out Nasrallah is a direct descendant of Mohammed. So they really are feeling hurt and probably anger about his demise, right? Okay, this is beautiful. So over the weekend, Sudani wrote a letter to the world, basically. It was addressed to Biden and the EU person, whoever the EU person is. But let's see, what time is it? Okay, this is a short version. Okay, so I'm going to scan through this. Message to the world. The region should not be left to the adventures of the insane arsonists. This is the gist of the message that Sudani sent yesterday, but it was 2 days ago, right, to the American president and European leaders. It is in fact a message to the entire world, and especially to those who are able to make an effort that would change the course of events and divert them from their current path, which, as everyone knows, is a path leading to disaster. So then he goes on to talk about how, well, I'll just read this. The economic data was the most prominent feature in Sudani's message, so you should go read it. It's posted in the last blog, I believe. Message because the economy is the global language that everyone speaks fluently. It is the speech of the Prime Minister of the country that contains the world's energy reserves. And when he warns of the trembling of the global economy and puts his finger on signs of an upcoming setback, everyone should listen to what he says. And it gets better. So that came out. And look what came out today. Israel may back down from striking Iran. I shouldn't have said Israel, but oh well. Sudani advisor talks about the back rooms. It was close 2 days ago. So you should read this. You must read this. And this is my writing here. I put, did Sudani save the Middle East? Because it was his letter, and then there were we had an ex somebody that worked at the Pentagon. He went to Ice Cream Land to talk to them, and there's all kinds of other mediations going on that we don't know about. Like France is a mediator. He speaks to someone on behalf of Iraq, which is us, right? And then Qatar speaks to someone. And so they have all these talks going on. But yes, and so it's been 2 days and there hasn't been any major things, no attacks on oil or nuclear or residential places. So it might be over. And then here, Gallant, who's this guy here, postpones his visit to Washington, and the Pentagon consults with Ice Cream Land about responding to Iran. So I guess he was like, well, if you can't calm them down, I'm not going to waste my time coming. Okay, I took that call. And so we continue our consultations with the people of Ice Cream Land, but you know who it is really, though, about the nature of their response to Iran's missile aggression. That's what I'm going to use instead of that word. So, yeah, so we'll see, but at least nothing major seems to have happened, right? Okay, let's see. Sudani chairs meeting. Okay, so this was yesterday. This was the big news yesterday. Al-Sudani chairs meeting to review financial reforms, stresses pursuit of speculators. Get them jokers. All right, and then there was another headline, same article. Sudani issues an important directive regarding money transfer operations. Do not be lenient with these people. So he's getting serious, right? At least in writing. So the meeting was about reviewing the comprehensive reform plan for financial and banking sector in Iraq, and he stressed the importance of tightening control over financial transfers and pursuing speculators. He directed the CBI and bank managers to simplify procedures for business owners, especially with regard to financial transfers, to ensure the smooth continuation of economic activity. A working group has been assigned to prepare new economic and financial packages in line with the current situation, including reactivating the central bank's investment tools and linking them to the size of bank deposits. Now, what I don't like about this is, weren't the procedures made difficult so they couldn't smuggle money and do, other nefarious things? And now, so the difference is, I think, because they know they're being tracked. Remember, Sudani told them, we can track every dinar. And they have the, what, 6 eyes now? Right? The auditors watching them. So you would hope they would just do things on the up and up, right? So we'll see. So this came first. All right. So that was that. Ernst & Young. Who's the other one? Ah, it bothers me that I can't remember. But anyway, so that's going on. And I think that's good. Getting all the banks in line. Plus, the other day, on September 30th, let me see. This might be dangerous. No, that's not it. On September 30th, Iran, with the other members of the OIC, they had a meeting to get all of their banks together on a platform. And I'm fairly certain Iraq is a member of the OIC. Don't quote me on that, but I will check that. But so all this stuff is coming together, which I think is great. Yeah, okay. I've been forgetting to talk about that, and then my computer shut down and I lost all my tabs. Alrighty. Okay, so let's see. Let me go back up here and see. I think that's everything that was really important, except they put out another video. Forgive me, I'm scrolling all the way down to the bottom. They put out another video because over the weekend, the dollar exchange rate was so high. Even Monday, it was still high. See, 1540. So I did the same thing. I'm not going to read this because today, even this evening, it closed at 1522. So that's 1522 dinars per dollar. So it's still too high, but at least it's coming down. And it's only Tuesday, so we still have Wednesday and Thursday for it to come down more. All right. So I have the video here, but the video's in Arabic. And it pretty much looks the same. It's this lovely lady, different lady, or maybe same lady, different dress. I don't know. And wording comes up. But here it is in English. I just like to put the original thing so that way people can't say, I don't trust you. You could have made that up. No, I did not make it up. There it is right there. YouTube. And there's the YouTube transcript that is in English. All right. So if you want to read that, they just talked about strict measures, and the same thing still. There was security tension in the Middle East. So pretty much the same words as the last one, but I know not everyone sees every blog. So you would have to go to the blog to see that. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go back up. So we have 10 minutes. Let's see, what do I really want to talk about? This seems to be good. Association of Banks. This is private banks also. More than 600 government institutions adopt electronic payment. I think they also talk about the number of ATM machines. Not in this one, but they had a target. I forget what the target was, but they're behind. But they had a meeting, like a little, let me see, private institution, a meeting. It was a meeting. So, to talk about their status. Here's a unhappy person, but they're in Maliki's coalition. The U.S. Federal Reserve is besieging Iraqi liquidity through the dollar. And the dollar this morning was at 102.27, I think. So it does make things difficult for other countries when our dollar is high like that. So here's another person. This is a former finance committee member. I'm not going to say his name, but he also talked about why there was a rise in the dollar. Look at this title. The Iranian ambassador during his meeting with Maliki. Any foolishness committed by Netanyahu will be met with a strong response from Iran. So clearly, this was on the 7th. This was news on the 7th. But just to let you know, there are agitators, and he is one of them. Let me tell you. And look, they had a Operation True Promise 2. So they're ready. Matter of fact, they have 10. Iran has 10 different scenarios to be aggressive against Ice Cream Land. All right, we talked about this. This was big news too. Ministry of Oil announces the start of exporting jet fuel. So they're pretty happy about it, which is another source of income. But I do wonder, does that have to go to the Federal Reserve like the other oil money does? But either way, income is income, right? All right. Now, isn't this interesting? Revealing the features of the 2025 budget tables. So they're already talking about the 2025 budget, but they have to, per the Constitution, they're supposed to have the first draft ready to go to the House of Representatives by October 15th. But guess what? Submit the 2025 budget tables to take their legislative path through discussion and approval in the Council of Ministers and refer them to the House of Representatives before the end of this year. So they've already moved the October 15th date, but it doesn't matter. The budget for 2025 is already approved. These are just the adjustments. As a matter of fact, I think this says the 2025 budget has to take into account international and regional economic conditions and their changes, ensuring that the provisions of the budget tables for the year 2025 are adapted within the available legal texts, in addition to relying on the performance of the indicators of the general budget tables for the year 2024. So you see, they still have not worked out 2024. So how can they, what's the word? It can't add up. How it starts with an R. The word that I'm thinking of starts with an R. Ratify? No, that's not it either. But reconciliate. How can they reconciliate 2025 when they don't even have 2024 together? As far as we know, right? Because guess what? They put out another gazette I'm watching Iraqi TV and that's what you hear. Oh, wrong site. But they put out another gazette and they still have not done the 4782 one that we're waiting for. All right, let's see. I'm going backwards. In case you're following along, here's an article today that Iraq raised its gold holdings to more than 152 tons, but I still think that's low. But why should they give their real number, right? Oh, this is a pretty good article. Speculators and war merchants deliberately harm the Iraqi national economy. So, but this is also from October 7th. But their clear goal is to confuse the money market and the movement of commercial market, and they are trying to suggest that the exchange rate is rising to uncontrollable rates, which it was. But, like I said, they got it down. So you might want to read that. Here it also talks about implementing 2024 and 2025 budget, revolutionize and activate non-oil economic sectors. So it's a good, it says a lot of good things that we would like to hear, right? And people they like to hear about the salaries. It's no big deal, you guys. They have to pay them. They have to pay the salaries. Now, there's an issue because Kurdistan wants it done one way and Iraq, Baghdad wants it another way, and then the people want it another way. And so there's all this delay and stuff, but also there's an article about Kurdistan applying to have it's going to come out tomorrow. Kurdistan applying to have Rashid and Rafidane banks in their province. So I think that would help things if they did that. We can skip that. So I think that's it. I was trying to keep this to 30. Oh no. Is this a European guy? This is a French guy. French ambassador to Iraq. He met with Sudani. Sudani said the usurping entity must be stopped. And I don't have to tell you who the usurping entity is, right? And here, this is pretty interesting also. So the social protection beneficiaries, that's like their welfare program. They were getting cards, and the cards are very limited to where they can shop and what they can buy, right? But they've opened it up. Early next month, these families, they'll be able to shop at these 6 different places and online. Before, there was, like I said, there were only places they could shop at or they could take the cash off the card. So if these people go to these markets and use the card, then that increases the electric payment number and takes stress off the dollar and stress off the cash, right? So while I don't like that, I'm sure Iraq is happy. They would have these people. They'd rather have them using a card, right? Instead of cash. Let's see. Oh, yeah, so this came out even though those banks had closed, saying there was a liquidity problem. Of course, is this Mohammed Saleh? No, this was a different one. This was Mustafa Hantoush. He came out and said, "No, there's no liquidity problem. What are you talking about?" They always do that. Oh, and then here, these are interesting. Some people will like these. So, digital banks in Iraq. Here is this is an article explaining, because remember, they don't know. This is all new to them. So he's explaining what a digital bank is, who can use it, how do you use it, why you would use it. Also, he talks about cryptocurrencies and nanotechnology, nanosciences. So, right? So this is this guy, whoever he is. I tried to put his name there, but it didn't take. So then right below that, Iraq holds workshop on nanotechnology. So see, they're moving right along. They are moving them very quickly along with modern technology. As a matter of fact, there's an article that said a lot of people don't know how to use computers. Here it is. Sudani's advisor. Most state employees do not know how to use computers. So you could read that article. Well, here, if you pause right there and you big it up, you could read, that's the whole article right there. Okay, let's see. This is more about getting people to, oh no. So remember, they want people to use mobile phones, right? They even showed them how to make payments from their mobile phone. So the other day, 2 days ago, when they were talking about the prices, well, the parallel dollar price rate being high makes prices on items high, right? And the two that were the highest were gold and mobile cell phones and accessories. So, a thing that Sudani did was he had a meeting and told them to put projects that would limit the price on the cell phones. They didn't mention gold, but um, customs and something else that would, so they can't price gouge on mobile phones, right? No matter what the dollar rate is. So and see, that's why the people like him. They bring a problem to his attention and he does what he can to solve it, right? Okay, so that's it. Here, I'm not going to read this. And plus, this is old news. There were two aggressions this morning, but then after that, oh, there's a really nice Reuters article. I can't get it. I can't get it here. But it's Reuters and it says Hezbollah asking to continue ceasefire means they are frazzled or something like that. So if you didn't know, yeah, I said the word again. The Bala, supposedly they're asking for ceasefire talks to begin again. So they got their one-two punch in this morning and then we're like, okay, we're ready. All right. So I probably will post tomorrow because, like I said, I know there's already two articles I want to share with you, but they're dated October 9th, and I try to keep these posts 30 minutes. So I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you. Thank you for the positive and helpful comments that people leave. If there's a join, no, follow, subscribe, join, something like that button where you're listening or watching, click that because I don't update regularly. And if technology works like it's supposed to, if I update, you'll be notified and then you can go. All right. So I think that's it. So accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. And enjoy the rest of your evening, night, morning, whatever time frame you are enjoying this content. And thank you until next time.